Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Chris.
Of Team Balmert, and I want to welcome you to episode number 3 of The Update, which is our weekly video podcast to help you stay upbeat and start your week off on a positive note. If you want to watch this podcast live and chat with us during it, tune in on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Team Balmert, every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. The audio replay of this podcast will be available on soundcloud.com/Team Balmert. And if you're not live with us, but you're catching the video replay on Facebook or YouTube, leave a heart emoji in the comments below so that we know that you're here with us and that you saw this week's episode. I encourage you to ask questions throughout and comment throughout the entire thing, and I'll get to your questions and comments at the end of the episode. So let's get into our topic for this week. So I have a little story to share with you. And it's about, in case you saw it or you may not have, I will describe it. I posted a picture today that was of our living room, and there were some toys around the living room.
There may have been some toys.
Yeah. Okay, so I asked everybody, what was the first thing that came to mind when you looked at this picture? And, some people commented that, it was happy and it was home and it was loving, and then others were more on my side saying that it was kind of a mess. I guess Renee put it as a mess that you clean up a million times every day over and over.
I like the organized madness.
Organized madness.
Or organized chaos.
Yeah, organized chaos. Yeah. So, and that's how I view it. That is my angle, is I see that and it makes me anxious because nobody's playing with that stuff, but it's left there. And yes, my kids should be better at putting their toys away when they're finished playing with them. However, they're 5 and almost 2. Let's be real. So I always find myself constantly picking up things because I don't like to see things out of their place. And it makes me anxious when things are out of their place or things are not straightened up or in the right spot. And maybe that's a little bit of OCD, but that's something that it bothers me. So it's obviously a form of anxiety, and that is what we're going to be talking about today, is anxiety.
Yeah, very, very relatable topic.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like everybody has to have had some form of anxious feelings in their lifetime. And it can be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, If you're getting ready to do something really, really exciting and you feel it in your stomach and stuff like that, that's a good anxious, like you should. If you're really super excited about doing something, that's a good anxiety to have. But a lot of times, especially, this day and age when we're starting to talk about anxiety, a lot of times it's kind of talked about in, what it really is, I guess, is what you could say.
Yeah.
So obviously if you're feeling nervous, you're feeling worried, you're uneasy about something that's happening, that is your anxiety.
Yeah, and I think we've all had that feeling at one point, or some of us might have this feeling every single day.
Right. So, there's an anxiety disorder, which is obviously when, the anxiety is taking over your entire day and it leaves you not being able to complete your daily tasks, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have a functioning anxiety disorder, which is you're experiencing anxiety through things, but you're still getting your tasks done every day.
It doesn't cripple you.
It does not cripple you, right? So I believe I have a functioning form of anxiety. So,
I agree.
Right. So the important thing here to remember before I start talking about the things that I have anxiety about, you have to remember there are all different types of anxiety and levels of anxiety. The things that Chris has anxiety about are not the same things I have anxiety about. And that's okay. He deals with, what his issues are on his own, and I deal with mine. And we will get into how completely different they are. Totally different. And that's okay. Everybody experiences anxiety at a different time. And you may be listening to me, and what I have anxious feelings about, thinking, oh my God, really? You're that anxious about, it may seem silly to you, but those are the things that cause anxiety within me. And it takes a lot for me to suppress that sometimes. And same with Chris. His is way different.
And I think being spouses and, and knowing each other for as long as we have,
right.
I think we both understand each other's anxiety enough to kind of live through it together and help each other out.
Right.
And
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just wanted to get on this real fast. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was when you have an anxiety, sometimes you may have some controlling patterns, okay? So, for me, my controlling patterns are if I can anticipate a change or something to my daily routine that causes me anxiety.
Yes, I agree.
Highly.
Yeah. You're very routine oriented.
I am very
structured.
Very structured, very routine.
Yes.
I don't, like, if I know that I have a plan for the day and it gets messed up somehow, some way, it causes me anxiety.
Yeah. You're the old school. I mean, I think this kind of sums it up right here. Like, she still writes with her hand on paper.
Yes, I do, but I like to see
but
it.
I think that's a good
right.
example, and that really shows how structured you are compared to free spirits.
Right, and if I didn't have this for this podcast, I would be highly anxious if I were just sitting here trying to wing it and talk to you without thinking of my points ahead of time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Okay, so then another controlling factor that this is so silly, but it really gets to me. And the example that I could come up with is Gavin likes mac and cheese, and Gavin likes to eat the instant mac and cheese, and I make it a certain way for him, and I make it according to the package, and I put 3 ice cubes in it when it is. After I've mixed up the cheese, I put 3 ice cubes in it, and I toss it around and make it nice and cool so that he can eat it right away, because heaven forbid the kid had to wait. But when I'm watching Chris, if I'm sitting at the table with Ryan and I'm watching Chris make the mac and cheese, he doesn't do it the right way. He's not doing it my way. And I know that may sound like, that's not anxiety, Lindsay. That's you being selfish and like, hello, let it go. Yeah, okay, it is. But at the same time, that causes me so much anxiety. I have to sit at the table and literally like close my eyes and just not try my best not to, one, say anything because that'll start an argument. And number 2, Lindsay, he's just helping you out and he's making the mac and cheese. It's going to be fine. Gavin's not going to know the difference whether he put 2 cubes or 1 cube or 3 cubes.
Actually,
he's going to eat.
He does. It's scary. He's got your OCD.
Okay. Well,
attention to detail.
Okay. So anyway, but I have to tell myself that at least and just let him go with it, right? Yeah. Okay? So those are the kinds of things. And also, like, Chris helping me out cleaning. He doesn't do it the way I do it, but I have to keep in mind, like...
I try so hard, too.
Like, I'm getting warm thinking about these things, but... Like, I have to, like, do you see how I'm talking about these things already? Like, it is causing me anxiety. Then I get anxiety. Thinking about these things. Right.
Because I know that you're getting anxiety, and then I get anxiety doing it.
Right. And you have different kinds of anxiety that that when you start getting anxious, especially with the kids stuff, because you're not, like, packing them up and getting them ready to go somewhere.
I'm very short-fused, yeah.
No patience. Yeah. And that's another form of anxiety. Very little patience. And
I think
when you hit that fuse, you freak out. Yeah. And then I feed off that, and then you make me anxious because you're getting anxious, the kids are getting anxious, and everybody's anxious.
But I think you complement it well because your fuse is a little bit longer than mine.
My fuse is way longer.
And you're able to talk yourself down prior to explosion.
Right. Yes. I feel like I have mastered in my mind talking myself through things. But yeah, so... Yes, that's one of those things. So we're just going to
Those are definitely real life examples.
Exactly.
Like, we're not even exaggerating. That's the stuff that goes on in our house.
Exactly. The other point that I wanted to make, it's sort of a controlling thing, is so a lot of times I take on way too much because I have fear that if I have somebody help me, they're not going to do it the way I had planned it out in my head. I'm a very task-oriented. I have to plan things out. I need to know things ahead of time. That's just how I am. Yeah. For example, my work has a golf outing. Okay, it's a big deal. It's a lot of work. But it's always very hard for me to delegate certain tasks because it's not going to be done the way that I envisioned it being done, number one, the way I want it to be done, and because I feel like so much rides on it and that I want it to be the best that it can possibly be.
Right.
And it scares me. There's a fear there that it's not going to be the best that it could be if I have somebody helping me doing it their way and not mine.
You just believe in your own system.
I believe in my own system, yes. So obviously stress is a big part of anxiety.
And I also think, let me chime in real quick, that you take on so much.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a motherly instinct, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah.
And I think like it talks about like on last week's podcast when you were talking about like everything that a stay-at-home parent does, or for example, a stay-at-home mother like yourself, or work-from-home mother. I don't want to say stay-at-home, but work-from-home mother. You know, like I feel like you do a lot already on top of that, so it's like you're just so used to carrying that behind-the-scenes work,
like a big load.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that didn't sound right. Carrying a big load. That was
yeah, in your pants.
That didn't sound right.
But yeah.
But okay. So then another thing that comes along with anxiety is focusing on perfectionism. Mm-hmm. Totally me. When I was growing up, I was like close to straight A's and B's. If I got a C, oh my God, it was the end of the world. Yeah. College was the first time I was getting, when I first got to college, you know, when you get your like mid-semester report or whatever, I was getting a D in something. Like, I was so scared to call my parents and tell them I was getting a D because I was like, that never happened to me. But I was always involved with everything. I always got good grades. I was never in trouble. I feared... That'll come up a lot. Getting in trouble. I remember in like second grade, you got your name written on the chalkboard if you didn't put your chair up on your desk at the end of the night. Well, when I walked in, my name was on the board, and I cried because I knew that I put my chair up, and I was convinced that somebody took my chair down.
You are like that, though.
But that's how I don't know why that is, but I just feared.
You're still that way. I can,
Yeah, I don't like to get in trouble. I hate confrontation.
Big time.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. I feel myself get hot. I feel myself like I just feel the redness creep up. Like I hate it. I hate it.
And then you got me that like I celebrated C's and D's.
Well, that's why we're different. But yeah, I just here's the other point too, is that I always worry about how Chris and the kids are when they're out because I feel like that's a direct reflection of me. So when Chris starts flipping out at someone wherever we're at, I get very embarrassed, and because I'm like, oh my God, they're thinking like, really?
That's funny because you have that caring about what other people think, and then I'm the free spirit kind of like, if I believe in something, I don't really care what the opinions are of other people.
I get it, and the more personal development I'm doing, and the more like reading "Girl, Wash Your Face," it's telling me I don't need to worry about the judgment or opinions of others. I don't, but I still do.
Right.
And that's a really hard thing, especially in this day and age with social media and putting ourselves out there. Yeah. We subject ourselves to that, and I understand that, but it takes a lot. I mean, to get over that.
Toughening your skin, getting rough around the edges a little bit more.
Yeah. And the other thing with perfectionism is, like, you know, obviously there comes a point when, you know, you're looking at yourself and you see these fit women and they're, you know, for me, they're cut and they're what I want. They're toned, and that's what I would strive to be because I feel like that's what I want to be. But then in the back of my mind, I have that. What the next topic is that negative self-talk. I have that little person behind me saying, yeah, but you're probably not meant to look like that. Like, your body just probably won't do that, Lindsay. So just get rid of that idea. But, like, that's the thing, though, is you want, like, to be healthy. And I feel like social media and society makes you feel like that.
Social media nowadays creates expectations not
everybody can reach. I'm sorry, but you can. I'm sorry, but
that are unsustainable.
Yeah.
That are fake.
Yeah.
That are unreachable. Like that's just how social media and media in general is. Because guess what? That stuff sells.
Yeah.
Right. And businesses want to make money.
Right.
And you know, sadly, especially in like the industry that you were talking about fit girls and stuff, they might be fit, but after those photo shoots and what's done with those pictures. That's where that false expectation's created, you know, in Photoshop, in the touch-ups, in stuff like that. And then that's what people are seeing.
Right.
And then they're basing their goals on these false expectations that really don't even exist.
Right. Yeah, that's why I like to follow, like, real people that I know that they're putting in the hard work and the time and effort. Yeah. And I see, like, those are the people that I see, and I'm like, I self-doubt. I feel like I may not be as disciplined as that. But anyway, okay, next topic. So those are just things of perfectionism.
I think that's a very relatable. I think a lot of people can relate to what you're saying. You know, like having these false expectations and then feeling sad and depressed and disappointed when you're not reaching them, when in fact they're not reachable.
Right, and I understand that, and it's hard too. I mean, obviously moms can relate to me that when you have kids and you put on that weight, it's hard. I weigh more now than I weighed when I was pregnant with Ryan. That is a hard pill to swallow. I was flipping. I had a baby and I weighed less. Like I had a baby in me and I weighed less. So that's been a very big struggle for me. Is that I've never been this heavy. Why am I this heavy? I totally blame it on stress and like stress eating. Like that does not help. It's been a very stressful year for us, and that's hard. So it's just trying to tell your mind and quit the self-doubt and just filling yourself with positive things and trying your best every single day to move past that.
Right.
And I think that's what's important. It's not so much the goal that's important. Thank you, Rachel Hollis. It's not so much the goal.
You go, girl.
I know you would think that I wrote this book because I just love it. But she said it's not so much always the goal that's important. It's how you get there to that goal and what you learn along the way accomplishing that goal.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That makes total sense to me.
It's never the destination. It's the journey to that destination that you're going to learn the most of.
And I've listened to this book one time. I listened to it one time, and these things just still... I mean, I swear, I read it once, and this stuff just resonates with me.
Because it was something that you needed to hear.
It's right, exactly. I was needed to hear that.
Right.
So another point of anxiety is a lot of negative self-talk, and that's what we're talking about here. So I'll just touch on it briefly since we kind of really talked about it. But it's kind of like, the angel on this shoulder and the devil on this shoulder. I want to start a workout program. And this angel saying, yeah, do T25, Lindsay. And then this devil's like, yeah, okay, start the workout so that you can quit in a week because that's what you always do. A lot of times the negative person's like, oh, you went to broadcast and you graduated with a 4-year degree from college. And this one's like, yeah, nice college degree. Glad you're using that now. Like these things play in my mind, and sometimes that self-doubt is like you're only good for changing diapers and wiping noses and that's the best you're ever going to be and you're just a mom. And it's like, no, I'm not just a mom. And you have to tell that devil on your shoulder to shut up and no, I'm going to do this. Like you just have to yell at it and tell it. Right. Okay, so we're just moving on because I know we're kind of getting time-wise. But anyway, repetitive habits. So I never realized this, but I apparently touch my face a lot. I didn't know I was doing this, but Chris edits all the videos and he notices every time I'm talking, and I talk with my hands a lot, but I touch my face.
You do this. That's your tip.
He's itching his cheek, by the way, if you're listening to this.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I edit all the videos, so I see this stuff, and every time I'm editing a cut with you, there's a point where you scratch your face, and I go, man, she does that all the time.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so I think that's your tick.
That's a tick. Yeah. And biting my nails. I can never have long nails. That's why I made it my goal to keep my nails painted, which I do. I still have them painted. I'm still going strong with my goal. But I bite them. I can't stand having them long. I wish I could, but it's a nervous thing I get. I'm like, oh my God, they're too long. I got to get rid of them. And then the biggest one Chris will agree with is overthinking. I overthink everything. He yelled at me today. For example that I had with this, Gavin's Halloween costume. He wants to be Spider-Man. It's a full-piece suit. However, when he was going to school, they needed to dress up. I can't send my 5-year-old that has a tough time peeing, as you all know, in a full suit because he won't be able to get it off to the bathroom. So the night before, I'm freaking out because I need to send my kid in a costume and I don't know what he's going to be. Yeah. So I was running around from stores because I was like, well, you're going to be a track runner and I'm just going to make you the little thing. And
yeah, you overthink things.
I do. I overthink it. And I'm like, I should print that out. Yeah. I shouldn't just hand do it. I should print it out. And it's like, why? The kid's going to wear it for 2 seconds. It's going to get ruined at school. And it's like, I just have to think myself down when I start ramping myself up with those kinds of things. Yeah. The other thing is, too, what I overthink is I every time we leave the house, like the house needs to be straightened because I have a fear that something's going to happen when we're gone and somebody's going to need to come into the house while we're not here. And then if it's a mess, they're going to think, oh my God, these people live this way. Is that crazy? And like when we go on vacation, the house I have to clean before we leave. Beds have to be made. Everything has to be in its spot. Everything has to be.
Yeah. Me, not so much.
I know, but I have a fear,
totally
like, if my neighbors are coming into the house to look at the dog or whatever the case may be, I just don't want them to be like, oh my God, their house smells, or they live this way, oh my God, they, like, leave that out and this out,
Yeah, no, our anxieties are completely different.
They are, yeah. Planning parties, I overthink food. I'm like, well, what if somebody doesn't like this? I need to have this, or what if somebody doesn't want that, side, or this? It's just, I overthink everything. I do, and it is what it is, but... As I said before, we all have different levels of anxiety, and, my anxiety doesn't look like your anxiety, and maybe it relates a little bit, but we all have different levels of it, and maybe you have the same things as the same anxieties that I do, but that may cripple you for the day. You know what I mean? Seeing the house with toys everywhere, that may shut you down. Yeah. Whereas I can function with it and I can just get over and move past it. And that's okay. It matters how you're managing things. Yeah. So when I was telling Chris about this podcast and what the topic was and what I wanted to talk about, he mentioned, I don't know if you want to go into it, but I mean, some of your anxieties are completely different.
Yeah, I guess I'm the functional anxiety, but I'm more. I suffer from anxiety depression, and I'm not. Seeing a sock out of place isn't going to set me over the edge. You know what I mean? Stuff like that doesn't set me over the edge. I go through funks, and I recently was in a big funk, and I thankfully sought help, and I'm on a pretty good track now. But I go through these phases where I literally shut down for a couple days, and I think
won't talk at all.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what did I do?
And a lot of people don't know this, so sharing this I'm being very vulnerable with you guys right now, but it might relate to somebody. I go through phases where I overthink bigger things, and I don't want to say bigger things because to you it's big planning a party. I get that,
right?
But
you just have a different level.
I overthink.
You have different anxieties.
Right.
It's okay.
I overthink life issues, if I was on this track for so long and now I want to switch it, but I've done so much on track A, but I want to go to track B. Will I be able to create what I've created on track A, or will I be able to live up to those expectations that I've created, or the pressure, is this going to be worth it? Is that going to be worth it? How is this benefiting my family? And stuff like that. And that's when I get in these funks and stuff. And then I had a big life-changing epiphany a couple months ago, and I was really down in the ditches because I didn't know what I wanted to do. It was right before this kind of took off. You know what I mean? But I didn't know what I was meant to do with my life. I had this
purpose.
Yeah, I don't know if people have these conversations where you just hit a wall and you're like, man, what am I doing? Am I just going to work and coming home and there's really no fulfillment, and then I'm going to go to work tomorrow, come home, no fulfillment, look forward to the weekends, and then do it all over again next week? It kind of hits you where it's dude, there's got to be more than life. There needs to be more, something that gets me out of bed other than just my alarm clock. You know what I mean? And I go through these funks where if I don't know what that thing is, I freak out and I shut down and I go, oh my God, I don't have a future. This is my life. I'm going to live every day to an alarm clock. Wake up, work 8 hours, come home, do it all over again. And then I freak myself out. So I don't know if that's relatable. I know that's a completely different level than what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And some people might be like, holy crap, this guy's got issues. But
no, but
that's my anxiety. My anxiety is emotional depression /
panic attack
/ I close myself off to the world, and it's literally you have to drag me out and be like, Chris, you gotta wake up, man.
We will go when that happens, it'll be a whole day that we don't talk, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I did, but I've come to the realization I know he knows that I'm here for him, and that whatever he needs and when he's ready to talk, I am there. But I kind of just let him. And I mean, obviously, we've known each other long enough, and I know how this ticks. Yeah. But so that's the thing. So it's it's all about managing your anxiety, self-motivation and working on yourself. And when you start working on yourself, you're gonna feel better about yourself. Right. Being healthy. Obviously, nutrition has so much to do with so many aspects of our life, but that it really can help with anxiety. Les Brown, who's a really good motivational speaker, he says you can't feel well and do well if you don't have good health. And that's so true. You only have one life to live, and it's take care of this vessel that you're living your life in, right? Develop, a healthy routine and healthy eating habits. It's going to be hard to do. It's the hardest thing to do. If it was easy, everybody would be healthy and in shape and la-di-da, but it's hard to do. Yeah. So you just have to, life is hard. Yeah, life is hard.
Life would suck a lot.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing is to, seek professional help, and that's okay. And I was listening to a podcast today by Gary Vee, and they talked about the stigma around mental health is slowly dissipating, and that's a good thing. Like, before, it was so kind of taboo to talk, oh my God, you're seeing a psychiatrist or a therapist or a psychologist, whatever the case may be, and it was you just felt like you were being judged, and you just didn't really talk about it. But now we're in a period where people are talking about mental health a lot, and I think it's a good thing, because it opens it up to having something relatable that you can relate to other people and work through things with other people. I think it's a good thing.
I mean, it took me 33 years to go see help.
Yeah.
Just this year was my first time physically going to somebody and seeking help. And it helped me a lot. It's basically just swallowing your pride.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay.
I'm in a funk, but I'll figure it out. Well, guess what? I couldn't figure it out. I just keep going to these episodes. Every 6 months or so, it happened again. Yeah. So seek help. I mean, I'm telling you guys, from my personal experience, if you guys feel like you need to talk to somebody, whether it's a friend or professional help, you guys got to do it.
Right, exactly. Don't be afraid. Yeah.
We might be this happy family that you guys see on Facebook all the time, but we suffer from issues too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how all social media is, though. You see these families, and it's everybody has their challenges. Right. Everybody has their quirks, and it's not what people post on social media is what they want you to see of their life. The good points that they want. Right, exactly. That's what they said too. The good points of their life. And that, of course, we want to share it. That's what we're about. We're sharing. We're being funny. We're trying to be uplifting for those people that, turn to us for a good laugh for the day, that are battling depression or whatever. And that's what we try to do. But we all struggle with different things, and it's okay. Yeah. It's what you do to that. So
it feels good to be able to vent this side of us out.
Right, exactly. And, we're real people. Exactly. So I want to kind of just a key point to end on, and then we'll get to
I don't even know if we'll have time for questions.
Yes,
we will. Those off.
Yeah, I'll try to go through a couple of them, whatever.
The comments, yeah.
But so this is a quote from Rachel Hollis from Girl Wash Your Face, and she says, "You must choose to be happy, grateful, and fulfilled. If you make that choice every single day, regardless of where you are or what's happening, you will be happy." And it's very true. So I guess just some questions, and I apologize, we kind of talked a lot. I figured that would happen, but that's okay. It's a good thing. Good topic. So I want to know, what are you doing in your life every day to stay grounded and to just stay calm? What are you doing in your life every day? And if you deal with anxiety, I want to know, how are you managing that? What are you doing in your life to cope with your anxiety? And then,
Namaste.
Yeah. The last thing is, how are you going to make tomorrow better than today was?
Right.
So, So I'll just try to, there's a lot here. Yeah. So, which is great. I am so exciting.
Yeah, we'll definitely go through all these comments.
Yeah, and I will comment on them and stuff. It
might be off the podcast, but no, I'm glad you guys can relate to this. I think.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, yep. Yeah. Anxiety with toys, bad anxiety in the ER. Yeah. Yep, takes over your days, and it's crippling. Horrible anxiety and depression.
Yeah, I would love to hear what your guys' triggers are.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah,
your triggers are totally different than my triggers. Right. I'd like to see or maybe people can relate to my triggers or Lindsay's triggers. I'd love to see what really sets you off, what gets you going, and then what is it that calms you back down? I mean, is it a nice relaxing bath? Is it seeking help? Is it a cup of tea sitting on your porch watching the cars drive by?
Right.
What is it that what's your perfect zen to?
Right, and some people are saying I have depression, anxiety, and I have to take pills for them, and that's okay. Right. If it helps you get through your day because it is so crippling to you, I mean, it's okay. You shouldn't have to feel Is it running out?
It might be running out. Are we running out of time?
Oh my God!
Oh, we're still live.
We're still live. Right. Okay. Well, we're going to end it so that we don't. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. And I'm sorry that we kind of ran over, but that's okay. I'll comment after we end this. So I hope that you enjoyed tonight's topic. Just comment, let me know that you liked it, and then
if this is something that can help somebody that you know,
send them our way, right?
Yeah. Share this video, or again, like, you guys can message us, and we're always here to hear stories and give a supporting hand and stuff. So just if you ever want to talk or you need somebody to talk to, we're here.
Exactly. So we hope to see you guys next Monday at 9 o'clock for the update, and thank you again for watching. See you later.
Bye, guys.